So let's talk about making money this year in a side hustle. Whether you're new, you're really just getting started, or you're growing your own side hustle this year. I think this video is going to be massively important for you because there are some massive changes that are happening right now that you need to be aware of. Now, I also want to leverage my experience, and in this video, my brother's experience as well, as we come to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, hey, if this is the first time that you and I are meeting, my name is Mike, and it is my job to help you make money in this gig economy. If it is really as a side hustle for you, you're doing this as a couple of hours a week, or maybe even using some of these gig economy apps really more towards the full-time space. We're talking 20, 30, maybe 40 plus hours per week. Now, having started my side hustle right here in Pittsburgh, doing this in San Diego, California, thousands and thousands of trips and transactions in the gig economy space. I've tried really most every niche there is, most every major app out there. So with that, I want to welcome you to the training today. And also, as stated, I also want to welcome my brother Matt here, a team member on the channel, and welcome to the Driver Team headquarters.
Good to be here. Happy to go over another stream, and thank you all for joining. Joe, Armando, Scott, I see you guys, Brian, and all the folks that'll join afterwards.
And folks, if the background looks pretty similar, it's because Matt is literally sitting 3 feet to my left. So we're excited to bring you this commentary, both from Driver Team headquarters today. But yeah, let me know where you're watching from in the live chat or the comment section. Let us know, how long have you been working in the gig economy? Now, hey, I mean, when we talk about gig economy, we are talking about these apps like the rideshare space, food delivery. I've done grocery delivery. I've done parcel delivery. I've done scooter charging. Again, most every niche out there. So Matt also started in 2015, and let's just jump right into the content today. I wanted to cover some massive changes that are happening really right this year. I want to talk about why exactly they're happening right now. So really, let's just jump right into it together here. And I wanted to cover number one, really 4 different questions that I'm going to ask you watching this here today. Matt and I are going to talk about this. So number one, what's changed since last year? I mean, I want to get into this firstly so you're aware of the major changes really that are happening from 2020 to 2021. So firstly, let's think about consumer behaviors when it comes to really most any niche here. So firstly, Matt, I want to ask you this. I mean, if we're looking at the food delivery space, a lot of you, if you're driving on DoorDash, Grubhub, or Uber Eats, I mean, we saw the Uber Eats, we saw the Postmates acquisition, that just happened recently, finalizing really earlier this year. We saw things like Uber Eats really showing the tip amount, the expected tip amount on the order request screen as well. We saw things like DoorDash, really the major player in the space. Number one, if you didn't know, when it comes to market share, adding contract violations, which means you cannot be late to that restaurant for the pickup or the drop off by 10 minutes and you're going to get flagged. So out of all of that, maybe even speaking to the macro of how behaviors are changing since this whole pandemic, since shutdowns. I mean, you probably saw a massive spike in food delivery in 2020 because of the pandemic. What are your thoughts on, what's been changing here since then until really a year later in the heart of this pandemic until now?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot that's changed, obviously, not only on restaurants being open, etc., but the food delivery space has completely changed. So if you're watching this, this applies to you if you're a new driver or if you're thinking about driving, if you haven't even driven any platform yet. So we've seen these changes in incentives and how much they pay for bonuses when you sign up. Some of those bonuses have completely evaporated. Some of them are $900, $1,000 in some marketplaces. We've seen companies like DoorDash offer restaurants using their own delivery drivers, but still use the DoorDash platform. We've seen slowdowns here in the summer, which we're going to get into. So all in all, here's the thing. Food delivery is never going to go away, right? There's always going to be customers ordering for convenience that don't mind paying a little more. So how will these companies like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub constantly race to the top? Like Mike said, DoorDash is number one right now. So if you've been driving in 2020, if you drove last year, put in the chat right now I was driving, I was out there, so we can see who was driving. But the plan is to continue driving and take advantage of this constant demand, but the demand that is always changing.
And folks, I mean, those are some great points. I appreciate you sharing that. I mean, we're going to talk about an actual action plan for you in the next 3 to 6 months, what to expect. We're not only going to go over, obviously, what's changing here, but again, an action plan for you in the next, again, quarter here. Really, we're going into Q3 right now, into Q4 at the end of the year here. So, Matt, I want to ask you, what do you think has been the biggest impact for your driving? Maybe you watch this here. So, again, to review, we have things like the Uber Eats, the Postmates acquisition. We have the contract violations. I think that's pretty big. I'll answer this question after you. We have things like Uber Eats showing the tip amounts finally on the order request screen. So you can make a smarter decision if you're the driver to say, okay, do I want to take this? Because now I see the complete amount. And just top of mind here, we saw DoorDash starting to hide that, not showing the tip amount in some marketplaces. I think that is absolutely massive. And then lastly, just general demand swings from the pandemic, not being able to literally go out and dine versus delivery only. What sticks the most for you out of all of that?
I think the most glaring thing for me is the incentives that the market losers, if you will, and that's a loose term. And I just mean that the companies like Grubhub or maybe Uber Eats or Postmates that's now acquired by Uber Eats, the incentives are massive. And I've seen personally huge differences in how much each app will pay, even per order. So here's an example. For the first time ever, I've driven thousands of food deliveries. I've driven probably 10,000 rideshare, driving customers to and from a location. But here we're talking about food delivery. So I've had a Grubhub order recently that was $35, $40. I've seen some of you give examples where Grubhub was paying $50 for one order. So again, our goal for you is through the strategies we talked about on Your Driver Mike, we want you around $25 an hour. Now there's no guarantees, but here's the thing. Grubhub for me has paid a lot of money. And that's maybe because they're the lowest market leader, perhaps in Pittsburgh. And they're trying to get drivers, hey, drive on Grubhub, drive on Grubhub. And we've seen, like I see in the comments here, some of you are talking about DoorDash. Uber Eats slowing down. I personally have seen $2 orders on Uber Eats. And we all thought, well, this acquisition is going to happen. It's going to be great. We predicted on this channel, we talked about, are we going to get some of those low orders from Postmates now on Uber Eats? And the answer is yes. So which app makes you the most money? Well, it obviously depends on the marketplace, but the ones that have the least market share, maybe in your city, you might see a big spike in how much they're going to pay you.
Folks, I will say great points. I will tell you this, that opportunities in the gig economy in any niche are, in my opinion, extremely volatile, which means they're constantly changing. So as Matt kind of alluded to there, you kind of have to follow the money. Now, I mean, is it fair? No. But this is kind of a grinding hustle for you. So, you're out there grinding and you're trying to make the most money. Well, I mean, sometimes you just have to do your own research and you do have to put in some of that work because it is kind of hard to find, okay, where's the consistent pay? That consistent pay may not even be consistent. It's constantly changing. Just to kind of one more point on that as far as what's changed this year, and then we're going to get into the next point here. For me, I am closely watching both Uber Eats and DoorDash, specifically for, well, number one, like you mentioned, the acquisition. And your last point there was, are we going to see lower paying orders with the acquisition of Postmates? And I mean, you saw, was it sub $3 orders?
So sometimes I've seen sub $2.50, $3 orders. And that's not to say that Uber Eats is a loser and you should never drive on that app. They are very much a strong player. But I've seen a higher frequency of those smaller orders.
I'll tell you this, folks. If you see sub $3 orders, I mean, simply decline it. And you need a multi-app. You need to drive on different apps. I mean, yes, we can get frustrated at these apps. We have to understand that if we have the limited control that we have being an independent contractor, I get there is some pull there with a loud, hopefully majority of drivers. But I mean, looking out for yourself, doing the research, multi-apping, I just ignore them, and it kind of teaches hopefully that algorithm that, hey, more and more drivers, I'm going to ignore the $3 orders, man, the $4, the $5 orders. My goal for you is a minimum of $7. So well put there. Folks, let us know where you're watching from, and definitely do drop a like in this video if you're getting value today. We do need to move on to our next question here, but feel free to answer this in the live chat or the comment section. Answer this question for yourself. What is the biggest change? What has been the biggest change for you in the last year since 2020, which a lot of things were going on, a lot of changes? Let us know in the comment section or the live chat. Or if you just started driving, feel free just to let us know what's changed for you recently as well for that many months you've been driving. So speaking of months of driving here, next I want to tackle the question, okay, with everything going on here, what do I need to expect in the next 3 to 6 months? And, why 3 to 6 months? Well, I mean, frankly, I would argue a lot of us are, again, doing this as a side hustle. And if you didn't know, I just posted a video that had some stats on this, that DoorDash's CFO stated that the average driver only drives 4 hours a week, which I found was very interesting. Let us know in the comments of the live chat how many hours a week. But from their CFO in their earnings call, which happened just last month, he stated that it was Prabir Adhikar, their CFO, that Dashers typically dash 4 hours a week. I thought that was really fascinating. But also that 75% of Dashers have other things going on, or students are doing this as a part-time job. And I would kind of agree with that. I think a lot of this is a part-time thing for us. But anyway, what to expect in the next 3 to 6 months? Well, let me just hand this off to you first. Without any prompting, let me just ask you, what do you expect is going to happen in this gig economy in the next 3 to 6 months? Think of the macro, a lot of different apps here. What do you think is going to happen?
So there's a lot of unknowns, right? It's hard to say exactly what's going to happen, but here's what I've experienced, and we're 6 months or we're 7 months almost into 2021. So we have seen, and maybe it's because it's summertime, like some of you have commented, it's a little slower out. I would almost expect this slowdown to continue. But there's a lot of strategies on, and like Mike just said, 4 hours driving. If you make $25, that's $100 extra a week. That's $400, give or take, extra in a month. That's thousands of dollars extra in a year. You get what I'm saying. So the potential to make $25 an hour, that's the goal, right? It's definitely still there. It's crucial now more than ever, to multi-app, to drive DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats. If you're not signed up, use a buddy, use a friend to sign up through a referral link. You can get some bonuses that way. But I saw a good comment in the comment section, and I apologize if I can't find who said it, but stack orders, right? Add-on orders. Have you seen, if you're a current driver, so if you're a new driver, stacked order is an additional order on top of your original order while you're still on that trip. I've seen a lot less of those. So that's not to say, here's the thing. Yes, the weather's nice. Yes, it's summertime, but the demand is always going to fluctuate. You can't just say, and here's a good tip. If it's raining that day, if the weather's not good, then I would be out driving, right? Because if it's 70 and sunny, then more people are going to be out walking to those restaurants. You get what I'm saying? So crucial now. I think it's going to be slow. I think it's going to pick up as we get closer to the end of the year, obviously with the weather. Crucial to multi-app. Crucial to be on all of those apps for stacked orders. And here's the thing. My video tomorrow is actually going to be around how to maximize your earnings and driving those dinner rush hours. So if you can, drive until 9 p.m. because sometimes that dinner rush will go from 5 to 9. It doesn't stop at 6:30 or 7. So crucial to change maybe some of your strategies just here in the short term. There's ways around the slow period.
I think those are really good points. And let me just answer that question as well. I mean, again, what are we going to expect in the next 3 to 6 months? You said slow down. I agree with that. And folks, again, I just did a video on this. This is very real. This isn't to scare you. This isn't to scare you. This is just actually what's happening in the marketplace because of changes. It's not the pandemic anymore. Things aren't completely shut down. We don't have to have the takeout anymore. There's an option for, in most markets at least, to have the dine-in. So yeah, I mean, this is a very real thing, but I would understand that it's getting back to normal. Okay, what we had in 2020, it was abnormal to say the least, right? With complete shutdowns. So I would expect to slow down. To answer this question here, again, I mean, folks, the question is what to expect in the next 3 to 6 months is, like I mentioned in that video, a slowdown in this next quarter, which is literally started tomorrow, Q3, into Q4, slowdown. Like Matt said, I would multi-app more than ever. That's driving on different apps at the same time and selecting the best order for you. If you haven't done that, I would start that immediately. I would do the sign up process. I would always compare and contrast orders. But I mean, like I said in the recent video, with slowdowns, is maybe setting some money aside for a reserve, because you're not going to be making maybe 30 plus an hour like we did in the heart of 2020 with everything going on. So I think those are some really good points here. I do want to move on though and address our next point here. So, I mean, Matt, we're going to be talking about opportunities. So we talked about what's going to happen in the next 3 to 6 months. Do you feel like there's any hidden opportunities out there for anyone looking to start or grow a side hustle coming up here?
Yeah, so I think there are. And like I said, your strategy has to be really dialed in. And this is exactly why you're going to be ahead of the thousands of other drivers that are out there. Because guess what? Each and every day, more and more and more drivers are joining. So there's more competition, if you will. Good for the customer, right? But it's not so good for the drivers. We'd love to see you guys sign up. That's a great thing. But the fact is, the more drivers, the less orders there are to share. So what you need to do is, it's crucial, and I'm giving away my video a little bit, but hey, you're watching the stream, so you get the advantages. You want to pay attention to those peak pay. You want on DoorDash. You want to pay attention to the boost and the surge pricing on Uber Eats. And if you're unfamiliar, what is this? This is promotional pricing. We have full videos on this, but long story short, you want a strategy, because I made $25 an hour yesterday. I was out for an hour and a half, which is a real quick run. And this is not to scare you. The money is 100% still there. And how do you make it? You got to really dial it in. So multi-app, yes, but you want to look at peak pay. Okay, is DoorDash paying me $3 extra an order? Is Uber Eats giving me a bonus or a quest? If I make 30 trips, they'll pay me $60 or $80 or whatever it happens to be. My quest was 30 rides for $60 pay on Uber. That's $2 extra. I thought, well, that's not high enough for me, because DoorDash, the peak pay, was a little better. So long story short, look at those bonuses, compare them, and then see which app is paying me the most, and then maybe strategize around that. And that's probably a good reminder, because, you know, hey, some days are going to be slow, right? I think I saw in the comments a $1.50 order. Yes, I know those are ridiculous, but hey, it's par for the course. But look at those bonuses.
Yeah, and I would highlight one of your comments here, James, one of our VIPs comments. I mean, you can't make a couple $100 with $4 orders. I think he was saying here on DoorDash, like Matt was commenting earlier. I definitely agree. I did see a good question in here. In case you are new, there was a question about Uber Boost that I would like you to answer here, Matt, if you could. Ellen asks, the boost on Uber Eats confuses me. Actually, folks, I don't even see Boost Pay on the Uber Eats app, which is kind of interesting. If you didn't know, you're going to have different bonuses here based on different drivers. So, Matt, can you just explain what an Uber Boost is?
Yeah. So I'm going to show you the example. So we're gonna try this out here. So you can see. Let's see if it works. It's not going to work. So on the map, when you're looking at Uber Eats, there's going to be a blue highlighted section. That's going to be your boost. And I would encourage you to look at other videos, but it's a multiplier. So I'll slow down. I know I'm talking kind of fast. Boost is blue on Uber Eats. And in the example that I have here, it's 1.3. So that's a multiplier on your base pay. So there's two pricing promotions. And I'll make it quick. I know you guys who have been driving, you know this. But there's surge pay, which is a dollar amount extra, a dollar amount. And then there's the multiplier, which is the boost. So that's on Uber Eats. So again, when I talk about boost, surge, or peak pay, which is DoorDash, these are incentives. So if you don't see that on your map when you go online, if you don't see anything highlighted, there's no promotions at this time. That's for Uber Eats. Or if you go into promotions under DoorDash and you see no peak pay, there's no peak pay. So that's exactly why I just said you have to look at those promotions, because Uber Eats might be going crazy and then DoorDash might not have any peak pay. So it's going to make you more money if you take a look at that, I think.
Yeah, I think that's well said. Again, to summarize there, any kind of multiplier typically on Uber Eats is going to be broken down into zones. That's boost pay, a per delivery bonus, which is the dollar amount. That is the surge pay on Uber Eats here. And I see you guys in the comment section here. EZG says, great viz. I appreciate that. And folks, if you do want to join a team of now over, I believe, 43,000, reaching hundreds of thousands of hustlers just like you, consider clicking the subscribe button. And if you do want to go deeper, like you saw earlier with one of our team VIPs, consider clicking that join button to get access to a whole bunch of things, including exclusive videos. If you can't see the join button, make sure to run over to a laptop or a computer if you are so inclined. So let's move on here. Just to answer this myself here, any hidden opportunities? I mean, I would look at, again, the rolling niches, the rolling demand here. So I talked to my VIPs about this. Again, if you want to join, consider joining as a VIP. But I told them that there may be some hidden opportunities in some kind of uncovered niches that we haven't talked about in a while. That is rideshare. I talked about this in a video weeks ago, but I mean, there were really stellar bonuses in the ride sharing space as far as $15 extra, $18 extra. Now, I absolutely get it if rideshare is not your thing for a whole lot of different reasons. But I mean, again, you got to be flexible. If you want to make the most money, you got to kind of chase the money literally here. Also, I had noted here, there may be standout apps, like Matt commented, maybe Grubhub, there may be opportunities there that are underserved in your marketplace. So if you're not active on all of them, again, consider getting active on those other apps there. And lastly, I had noted standout apps that no one's really talking about. I've seen some high pay on Roadie and other parcel delivery apps, so consider that as well here. But moving on from that, let's get into our next question here, folks. Today we're talking about the side hustle economy and really what to expect here for the rest of 2021. So again, if you are getting value, definitely drop a like on this video. But I mean, lastly, I wanted to ask this question. I'll just ask you. So, all right, DoorDash is my thing. Whenever I survey you, our team members, I get a lot of the times like, hey, DoorDash is the best paying app. That's typically what I drive for. That's what I'm comfortable for. Why can't I just keep driving on my favorite apps?
Well, here's the thing. Well, first of all, Ellen, you're welcome. Micah, Michael, Armando, I see you in the chat. Henry, thanks, guys, for your comments. Here's why you don't want to do that. So if you love Uber Eats, and I have a real short story. I started with Uber Eats. I drove Uber and Lyft for a long, long time. And Mike was suggesting, hey, you should sign up for DoorDash. You should sign up for Grubhub. And I was missing out on a ton of money, basically. But here's the thing. Even if you get 1 or 2 requests from those apps in an hour, it doesn't matter, because that request could be $30, like my example earlier, and it could have a huge tip. For example, I mentioned I drove an hour and a half yesterday. I got a $15 tip and an $11 tip on Grubhub. So you want to have those apps running in the background, and that's multi-apping. Again, but we're going to go, we have a whole video on multi-apping. Once you accept a ride, make sure your other apps are paused. Okay, you don't want to keep them open all the time. You're going to get all these requests, just to keep it simple. But sign up for all of those apps, Grubhub, Uber Eats, and DoorDash, because even if you get a few orders coming in, they could be huge, and you don't want to miss out on those potentially big orders, even if most people use DoorDash like they do, I think, in Pittsburgh. Most of my orders are DoorDash. It's very consistent. But I go for Grubhub all day long when it comes to huge orders.
I think the takeaway, folks, is, again, why can't I just keep driving on my favorite apps here? I mean, you can, but I think the real takeaway here is I talked about chasing the money, chasing the opportunities. It's doing the R&D. It is multi-apping. And I would also, you can track your numbers here, folks. There's free resources at yourdrivermike.com under the resources tab to get either an Excel sheet or a sheet for Mac numbers to track these earnings here and to look at trend analysis. Okay, yeah, I'm going to keep driving on DoorDash. DoorDash is my thing. But over the last maybe quarter, Q1, Q2, we're going into Q3 now, have I seen kind of a tapering off of my earnings, crawling down from, I used to make 28. I mean, in San Diego, I made 28, $30+ an hour. Is it creeping down to 25, 23, 20? And I mentioned that this was my point in a recent video. I said, hey, if you're not actually looking at trend analysis, you may just think, well, yeah, I'm still doing good. But you don't realize that you're actually down like $8 an hour from, I don't know, 2 quarters ago. So, I mean, again, I would watch it, drive it on your favorite app. It's good and all, but you really have to be kind of tactful. You got to be sharp to follow opportunities in this gig economy. So, Matt, as we just land the plane on the video today, folks, if you got a value in this video, definitely drop a like. Any other advice, maybe for anyone starting, because in my opinion, the space is so different than the pandemic closures, especially in the food delivery space of 2020. So what would you tell someone maybe struggling or starting right now?
Right. So there's only so much you can control. So I've heard examples in the comments. And by the way, I think food delivery is going to be around for a long, long time, even with robotic cars, as I see in the comments section. That's a long way off. I think food delivery is going to be around for a long time. That was a good comment, though. But here's the thing. The money is out there. Even if your marketplace is small, I've seen some of you, hey, we're not all in big cities. I'm in a suburb, every order is far away. Like I said, make the most of your time, because I've seen a really good comment from Jeff about students being home. Maybe they're driving this side hustle to make more money. That's temporary. Food delivery is not going away. So you have more competition. That's just how it is. So you're on this channel, you're a subscriber, maybe this is the first time you're watching, you are going to get the tips to set yourself apart. So yes, they might be driving, there might be more drivers, but I'm not going to wait overly long for my order. I'm not going to wait. We talk about wait times. I'm going to look at the peak pay. I'm going to look at the bonuses. I'm going to sign up for all of the apps that I possibly can, because even in a small marketplace, people are still, doing food delivery. And I get it. You might not make $40 an hour, just depending on the demand in your marketplace, but you'll give yourself the best chance. The money is literally out there every single day, all the time. People are ordering food. There's busy times, but the drivers who make the most money get those bonuses, and they scoop up all of the best delivery requests because they're seeing them all coming in from those apps. So you guys can do it. I know you can. Get on the road, learn your marketplace, and join the community here and subscribe so you can get more of those tips.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you being here and watching this video. I'll leave you with this. Like Matt said, this is a hustle. This is a grind. There's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be high points and low points. But to stay on the upper end of making as much money as you can make, definitely welcome you to join the team here if you haven't subscribed already. If you have, I appreciate you being here. In my opinion, this is the best place to learn about making money in a side hustle, in a full-time hustle, active streams, semi-passive revenue streams as well. So a ton more to come. So your next action item, if you are watching this, what I want you to do is, if you enjoy Matt's commentary, do check out his channel as well. It is Your Driver Team Matt. It is under the Driver Team umbrella here. Again, that is Your Driver Team Matt. We'll leave that link down below in the description. And also, I do want to link another video here as well. So if you did get value in this video, definitely drop us a like. And you can also click or tap the screen right here for another video. Appreciate you watching. And of course, we'll see you in the next one.